Hey guys, I'm Duncan Wilson.
And I'm Sasha Syed, and you're listening to the Mortgage Sweet Spot Podcast, proudly presented to you by Mortgage Sweet.
This podcast is your go-to source for expert insights, innovative strategies, and the latest mortgage trends to help you make the most informed decision regarding your mortgage financing. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seasoned real estate investor, or maybe somewhere in between, you've come to the right spot.
So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover your mortgage sweet spot.
All right, so welcome back, guys. It's with a heavy heart. We're coming to the end of season 1 right now. But today, me and Sasha, mortgage broker extraordinaires, we're in here to talk to you about the real cost of buying a home in Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah, in Canada. Yes. Actually, it's a funny story. If I was going to turn around my dad in Scotland, I would say, I can't, Dad, meaning I can't do it. So my dad always told me growing up, because he's from Scotland, he's like, you know how Canada got its name? He's like, Scottish people landed on the shoreline, and one of the kids, one of the friggin' boat people's kids went up in a tree, and his dad was like, get your ass down here. And he's like, I can't, Dad. And they're like, you know what, we'll call it Canada.
Yeah.
So he grew up my whole childhood being told this until I found out it was like that. This is a part of our heritage.
Yeah.
So I remember watching that for the first time on TV, running to my dad going, Dad, no, it's not. It was Canada. It was Canada. And he was just like, oh man, I can't believe you believe me about all those years. Anyway, so.
One of the many lies our parents tell us.
I can't.
Oh, that's
all
funny.
Right, so let's look at it, Sash. Go into, and I mean, this is pretty simple for most people. They're like, what does it cost me to buy a house? Now, I know there's averages, and I know Maddie did some math here in ChatGPT. That's the funniest part. What technology cannot replace is, I guess, experiential knowledge, right?
Yeah, yes.
It's going to grab data. So there is data in here, and I mean, Maddie's got it here. The average to buy a house is $68,000, down payment, fees, all in. I don't think that's right. So why don't you talk about it? Like, go. Like, what do we got?
Sure. So, I mean, like, you know, of course, here we do these beautiful spreadsheets where you give everybody, it shows the whole breakdown. I'm going to just throw a shout out to the spreadsheet because it is awesome. Here comes Duncan.
So you're saying you do, Maddie's actually, I think we blocked off from the kids office. This wonderful thing called a worksheet.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you can see it, but what Sasha's talking about is you can do your own. But then honestly, come talk to him as a professional and say, hey, can you actually do some numbers? And we put it on this digital thing called Excel.
Yes.
And we put this down so we can change the numbers. But go ahead, go down through that spreadsheet. It's right here.
So in the spreadsheet, it's going to have 3 sections. It's going to have your purchasing power. Then it's going to have your closing costs. And then it'll have your monthly outputs. Well, today we're talking about the real cost of buying a home in Canada. So we'll just stick with the closing costs. You know, a lot of people, I'm surprised to hear that don't actually know about the land transfer tax. When we had Christian on here, Christian Janice from Simple Close, he had mentioned that his clients a lot of times don't even know what that is.
Yeah, and that's a real estate lawyer saying that, guys. So pay attention. On a previous episode, they talked about the cost of land transfer, but go ahead. Yeah, what do you got?
So essentially you have your lawyer costs to close, right? If you're purchasing your house with less than 20% down at closing, you'll have to cover the PST, the provincial sales tax.
That's on the insurance premium.
Yeah. So if you're buying with less than 20% down, say you're just between 5 and 10, you have a 4% premium that you have to pay to the default insurer. That gets rolled into the mortgage. However, the provincial sales tax does not. So you have to cover that in closing. So you'll also see that in your closing cost list.
Yeah. And just to add in, not to interrupt Sash, but that's a lot. That's a lot of money. That PST is a lot of money sometimes. And honestly, when Mark Carney was getting into power here as the premier or the prime minister, he was like, oh, we're getting rid of HST on new homes. And he was asking a mass mail-out when, hey, is there any other suggestions? Guys, I would tell you, I was advocating for all my borrowers. It's a piss off. To pay PST, provincial sales tax, on a premium that's already been added to your mortgage. Sometimes my client, just the other day, $1,800 is what he owes as a PST.
Yep.
My thing is, if you want to make houses cheaper, get rid of PST on this friggin' premium. That's my biggest issue. I don't get it.
Well, if we're going to touch on that, the problem I have is that these incentives that the governments are giving, they're giving them to the builders.
Yep.
They're not giving them to the consumer.
Yep.
So the builder's saving money on the cost to build a home, but the consumer is still paying full market value, no savings whatsoever. So
correct.
the builder makes more money.
they're not adjusting the rebates to make the house lower. They're keeping it the same and making more money off the house, which is very slim already for builders. I know that, but it does suck because it gives the control of that. Like, honestly, if they wanted to, they could lower so many other external costs. And we're going to talk to them. We're going to cover them off today, guys.
Yeah. So
we'll be here for about 4 hours.
Yeah. So strap yourself in.
Yeah.
So PST, sales tax on the default insured premium. Next one would be your land transfer taxes. So there's a tax in Canada when you buy property. It is provincially set. So like Alberta, for example, doesn't have the land transfer tax, but in Ontario we do. And that's a part of your closing costs. You have to pay it at closing. And like I was saying, the amount of people that don't know about it is crazy, because if you get all the way to your lawyer and you haven't been told about a land transfer tax, I'm sorry to the other agents and brokers out there, but clients, you're with the wrong brokerage. You need to come to MPFG, where you get everything up front. So just to touch also on that, if you go to our website, there's a land transfer tax calculator. You punch in the purchase price of the home you're buying, and it'll give you the land transfer tax amount.
Google Mortgage Suite land transfer tax calculator. It's one of the best ones. It's simple. You're not going to get advertised to. It's just, you can run numbers through it all the time.
You don't have to put your information in there to use
awesome. So there's there's PST. You also have a little bit of PTSD after doing a mortgage. We would love to get rid of the PST, but the PTSD you're going to have regardless, which is post-traumatic stress. PTSD is post-traumatic stress syndrome, whatever it's called. But you will have it. You'll be stressed.
As you can see, this is 25 years of doing mortgages. That's what happens.
So PST you owe, and you owe some PTSD too.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about more. Let's go into more detail about the lawyer. So a lot of people come in and go, my lawyer's going to cost me $5,000. I'd like to clear this up. A lot of times they think it's the lawyer cost, but it's not really, guys. The lawyer typically, I'm going to say, charges $600, maybe $800. And that's base cost. That's what they're making. All the other additions are share certificates, government registration costs, search costs, title transfer costs, title insurance. There's so many other little things that what the lawyer does is he prepays for them. And then when you're going to come in and close, he's like, okay, bring me this much X dollars in. Now, if you're a good broker, which me and Sasha are, we typically ride this into a general cost. So we would put down for what, $1,800,
$2,000.
Yeah. And if you're way outside that, there's something definitely wrong too. Like there's something. The numbers, if something goes so high and you call me up and you say my lawyer's looking for $4,000 and I've calculated at $1,800, I'm going to investigate. I don't understand why there's such this big disparity.
Yeah.
Now and Sasha's going to agree with me here. This big disparity does sometimes come in where mid to early year closings. So January to about, I'm going to say August next month, you're going to find that people prepaid their property taxes. Who are you buying the house off of? And if they were smart, they've caused you headaches, meaning a smart seller possibly has paid up their whole year's property taxes. So they get owed money back on the day of closing. And up until about August, this is where we find it happens. You'll call me saying, I owe an extra $1,000. It's not in my spreadsheet. That's typically because you're now paying back the property tax portion back to the actual seller. And you got to remember this, in theory, it kind of does mean your property taxes are prepaid as well, because then you just start the new cycle with the new mortgage. You're now going to have prepaid property tax. So you almost double up your payments all the way till December of the current year. So if you close in August, you might have prepaid property taxes that you owe at the lawyer as well.
Yeah.
All right. Any confusion, guys? Honestly, call Sash. Call me. I don't mind. I can go. If you call me right now and you say, I'm closing with RBC in 2 days and I need to find out what I'm going to owe at the lawyers, I'm going to do it, guys. I don't mind. I'm not going to try and steal. There's no, what am I going to do? Take the deal and close in 2 days? No. I'm going to give you the knowledge quickly and help you out. It's just sad that you're calling me when you're closing with maybe a bank, let's say, and they haven't done this yet. And that's my other problem with a lot of professionals in this industry. Like, we're number people.
Yeah.
So we have to do numbers. We have to approve specific interest rates with specific amount of dollars. But why don't we do a specific spreadsheet with those specific amount of dollars that you owe? That's what I can't believe it.
Take the time.
Yeah.
Just take the 5 minutes it takes, maybe 10, to put the numbers on a spreadsheet.
Yep. I would do it if you're not getting clarity. For instance, if you're being told, okay, well, it's going to be $20,000. Can you give me a specific? Oh, just make sure you have 25 just in case. That's not specific enough for me. I want $22,968. And I may be off by $100. That's kind of what should make you feel a little bit less stressed. So outside this lawyer situation, Sash, let's touch on lender fee possibly, broker fee possibly, and appraisal.
Sure. So if your deal is a B deal, like we've talked before in previous episodes, there's always a lender fee, and there's usually a broker fee on the B side.
Because
more
the amount
so
of
with
work.
privates. Yeah. So B deals are more complicated, a lot more running around to do, a lot more docs to review, stuff like that. Now for the lender, usually B deals are more riskier. So maybe there's a credit issue, debt service issue, missed payments in the past. So for the lender, that's considered to be more riskier. So they want to put a little premium on for considering funding that mortgage. Appraisal costs, typically B deals or deals that if you're buying from like a private deal, like a friend or a family member, or just a private deal, off-market deal, you're always going to have an appraisal cost at confirmed value. That could be about $395, maybe $420. Every appraiser is a little bit different.
Yeah,
So,
and just add in the way to save on this appraisal. Me and Sasha could do it. Go to a lender with an AVM.
yeah, that's becoming a thing
But
now.
you got to remember this too. An AVM still costs the borrower $150, and it's noted on the commitment. It says this AVM is going to be $150. So we have to disclose that to you guys, saying, okay, there is not, you guys, as a broker, our two jobs, conflict of interest. Is there anything gained from me doing this mortgage to you? Because if there is, and I'm not disclosing it, I'm in trouble. And then full disclosure. That's why as a broker, we want you as borrowers, tell us everything. We'll decide what we use or not, right? So that's a little aside. Sorry, I want to get into that. But and then Sasha touched on lender fees. Guys, lender fees typically should be 1%. It could range up to 2% sometimes with even more higher, like going from B into maybe a C lender, which is your mix, your privates. Those can go to 2% sometimes. So if you're getting a $500,000 mortgage, yeah, you're paying $10,000. And let's not mention the 1% that the broker is going to charge. Now you're at $15,000 to close on this $500,000 mortgage. Now, and this is another side, if you're being presented, this is your first option, right? Like you're putting down 20, 30%, and this guy comes back within a day, or gal comes back within a day and says, okay, here, I got you approved. You're at 8.99% and 2% fee. There's something kind of wrong with that, because I would kind of want to know, like, okay, did you try a regular bank? Did you try a B lender? Who else did you try? And if that broker or agent says, no, I mean, I've just sent it there and that's it, our job's to try and get you the lowest rate possible, not just get you approved.
Yeah.
And I've been stuck in it sometimes where I am beating my head against the table. I want a lower rate because I believe the deal. I believe in that deal so badly. So that's the kind of passion that me and Sasha bring to this table here. So across all this, 1% lender, 1% broker, these all get added up in this section. It's total costs, right? Yep. Basically, it shows you the total cost. We outline all those for you. That way you're sure what's going on. There is no surprises. The amount of times I've had a borrower call me saying, or a borrower telling me about a past closing of a deal, how an extra $5,000 had to be paid. Why? How did that happen? Like, that's my question. How did this actually happen? Our job is to be consistent. And actually, I'll take an example of the market right now. And there's certain people in power that are not very consistent, and look what it does to the market. So the more consistent we are, the more I can sleep at night, and the more you can sleep in your brand new house that you're closing on at night, right?
Yeah.
So after that, you have all those fees and costs. Look at down payment. That's part of it, right? Down payment.
Yep. So down payment plus closing costs is what I'll say.
Yeah.
This because I didn't really catch on to this until I think I was in my second year.
Yeah.
But when you purchase a house in Canada, on top of the down payment, you need to be able to show the lender you have 1.5% of the purchase price in available funds. You don't actually need to spend that money, but you need to show the lender that you have 1.5% of your purchase price in available funds for closing costs.
You know what I find funny though? You're like, took me about 1.5 years to get that. So after 100 mortgages or so that he did, he finally got it. So what Sasha's trying to say is once you get to your 50th purchase or your 70th purchase in your life, you'll know all these numbers.
Yeah.
You'll understand it. And that's the other issue. You guys, as borrowers, are doing this once every 5 years, okay? I just went down and got a new truck recently, and I went down to the MTO, or the Service Ontario. So I walk into the MTO, and I'm figuring it's a certain way, and Maddie can attest to this because I had to call her quickly and be like, I need you to sign this form. But it was all brand new, and this lady's staring at me like, why don't you know this? And I almost felt like saying like, because I don't do it every day like you.
Yeah,
like
really.
every day, you must know every single rule. That's where it comes to mortgages. So we get what you're going through. It's like walking into the MTO down in Leamington and trying to get your new license done without insurance proper and without a letter. And I brought my license. That was the best part.
I was going to make a joke about you forgetting your
That
license.
was literally the only thing I brought. And I was like, all right, bought a truck, put it in my name. And she was like, oh, we need this, we need this, we need this. It's a rigorous process. And like I said, PTSD, man, it will happen, believe me.
So just one more thing about the closing costs. Like the reason why it took me a little bit on this is like when you have a client that's telling you, I have $50,000 for a down payment. Is that 50,000 plus this 1.5%, or is this 50,000 total? So when you're at home doing your budget, you're talking to your family about getting your mortgage. It's important to keep that in consideration. If you want to buy something for 400,000, make sure you have $6,000 in available funds for closing costs.
Correct.
Count that for your down payment, right? Then I think the last thing really to touch on, inspections. When you're looking for a home,
They're coming back.
It is. Yeah, I did a couple of open houses over the last couple of weeks, and the realtors are all saying, if you want to come with the inspector, just let us know.
Isn't that sad? They're coming back because, maybe looking at a house properly and making sure this $400,000 purchase you're making is going to be okay. It's just funny that they ever went away. I boggle my mind.
Right?
Like boggles my mind. Like all the non-looking at houses, just buying them without even having an inspection. Guys, houses are getting older. Let's be honest, man. They're some of the ones we have 100 years old. And I don't know if they have like a timeline on this, but I'm pretty sure houses start having things wrong with them at 100 years old, right? So I'm happy. There's lots of actual inspection companies out there. There's a few we can rhyme off. If you guys need suggestions on them, give us a shout. We'll give a suggested inspection, but that's going to run you about $500 these days, $550. Appraisals are going up in cost as well. Sometimes, like Sasha said, $300-$400. And you got to remember this too. And then there's this other thing that I get a lot of questions on. If we're doing the real cost buying a home, you got to remember you're putting a deposit on this offer, right? That's going into the whole kitty. Meaning, if you give $10,000 as a deposit, it doesn't disappear. It goes to the other side, then that other side forwards it over to the actual other side's lawyer. And when you go to buy it, it all gets reconnected at the back end on the closing. I'm trying to be as simple as possible with this situation. It gets all connected. But note this, and this is a big note. Don't put a $10,000 deposit down on a $400,000 purchase and bring me a $390,000 purchase price, thinking that the $10,000 goes towards, I already gave him $10,000, so I only bought it for $390. No, you still bought it for $400. You gave a deposit of $10. Because I've had it many times in my career.
Really?
Where, a new realtor had done one of these offers, and most times it's private offers where I'm like, I thought you bought it for $400. Oh no, I already gave him $10,000, bro. We wrote it up for $390. I'm like, why you? What? No, you're buying it for $400. That $10,000 has to go over to the lawyers. I've actually tracked down the buyer taking the money to make sure because the buyer didn't understand. Buyer thought it was his money right there. I was like, no, you need to bring that money down to your lawyer ASAP.
My gosh.
So just note that deposits are that way. Once all this gets done, you have a certain X dollars at the end. And on this spreadsheet, we can show you that's what makes out your payment, your biweekly payment. Do you want your taxes included? Do you not want them included? Another cost to closing a home is your taxes. Sometimes these companies charge $20 to run your taxes on the back end. A lot of times I tell borrowers, pay your own taxes. You know what I mean?
I tell every borrower, pay your own taxes.
There's no point. Like it feels great and all that, but honestly, if you just make online bill payment to your taxes every month yourself, it is cheaper.
Yeah, and just to touch more on that, because like we were talking about, taxes restarting in August or whatever. If you buy a house anytime before those taxes restart, the lender takes the payment, but it just builds up in their account as a credit. And then what I find is all my clients going, why do I have a past due tax bill?
I have one literally right now.
It's like, oh, well, you elected for the lender to pay your taxes. They don't
no.
actually pay the taxes. You have to pay them until the new tax year starts.
Pay your
So you're
taxes,
doubling up your
guys.
taxes.
Pay your own taxes.
Yeah, just pay your own taxes. There's
That's
the
what I
moral of
would
the story.
say. So you might have what's called buyer's remorse, or you might be pumped. Depends on what happens after closing.
Yeah, it depends on all the creaks and cracks that happen in the house after the deal's
Honestly,
done.
as a broker, I try and make it super duper stressful until closing, so you feel that release. You're like, oh my God, Duncan's not bugging me again today. This is great. I finally have my keys.
It's a great strategy.
Yeah, it just caused the most amount of ruckus and havoc. So when you do close, you feel good. It's all mental, guys. It's all about mental, right?
Yeah, but post-closing expenses, you're going to want to buy new furniture. You're going to maybe want to slap some paint on the house or, little things like that. So
Electricity bills, make sure you have all those flipped over.
yeah.
Netflix.
Oh, utilities.
Utilities, all that good stuff. There's just a bunch, man. I'll be honest with you. It's like, it's one of the best feelings in the world, owning your own place. But it does kind of,
Shovels for the snow, lawnmower
it
for
was
the grass.
Spider-Man's dad. He said it. He's like, with great power of owning your house comes great responsibility. That's what he said. I will remember that for the rest of my life. Like, with great ownership comes great responsibility.
Oh,
so
God.
I would also suggest post-close, maybe do a separate account. Like, you have a checking account, and I get that, but you can actually create a separate checking account just for these house expenses. And I would do that because it makes it a lot clearer and a lot nicer. So that way you're not, dipping into either overdraft. You separate it out. So let's say you take a monthly payment, put away biweekly on your paychecks into this account, so it's separate completely. You don't have to worry about it. So these are all things that we suggest.
Yeah.
We do budgets for clients to show them how to do this. And I hope. Honestly, I just hope this chat helped. I hope it helped you guys figure out. And if you do have questions, you can call us. There's also other things, for instance.
I guess like water tank rentals.
Water tank rentals, CRA, the friggin' Canada Revenue Agency sometimes might have something on you, on your writ. Judgments come up. Judgments are something where, I don't know, maybe you're 18 and you're at Hudson Bay and they told you to buy a set of gloves, you get a free card, but they charge you half on your debit and put the other half on a credit card and you didn't even know about it. And then 6 years later, it shows up in your bureau. And I'm not saying that happened to me. I'm not saying it happened to me, but just saying these things are unexpected.
That definitely happened to you.
Yeah, it was a pair of gloves.
I can see it in your face.
I didn't even realize and she's like, do you want a new credit card with that? So I bought this pair of gloves. Then I don't even have a card. Like, I don't even know about this, but then I go in and check my bureau. Dude, R9, $18.
Wow, really?
$18. Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
Like, nobody sent you a letter in the mail?
No, but I spent like 18 hours fighting it, man. Why not?
Oh, I would have too.
I didn't. I'd pay $20. It was like, never mind, here's $20.
Yeah, but still though.
I know, it ruined my
nobody
bureau.
once called you to say, hey, and that happens a lot, guys, people. Like, that happens a lot where people are like, yeah, I closed the account. There was a whatever interest adjustment that got charged and nobody told me about it.
Yeah, you know what sucks the
Credit
most?
cards in R9.
I agree. You know what sucks the most? I lost that pair of gloves.
Ugh, fuck.
So not only did I have to pay $20, double the amount of this for this pair of gloves, I lost them. The best part about all this, I go to Winners right now. Gloves are like $80, so maybe I got a good deal. Maybe I got a good deal. I'm pretty pumped. So that's unexpected. There's so many things that can come up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, even on the other side, selling the house, they may have a different lien. They might have stuff they didn't know about.
Yes.
Guys, our job is honestly to make sure none of this happens. We can't guarantee that none of it will happen. We do our best to look into everything. That's why we get blood samples from you guys and stool samples and every other kind of sample we can dream of. That's why we ask for all of it. We want to make sure that none of this hecticness gets in the way.
Yep.
So I'm just getting a thumbs up from Maddie.
Yep.
Sasha, give me a double thumbs. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have any questions, please go to www.mortgagesuite.ca because honestly, there's tons of articles on there.
And we got all kinds of good material like these homebuyer guides. We got guides to refinancing your property, guides for a private mortgage, guides for equity and stuff. So
We actually have so many guides. We wrote an actual guide on the guides.
But if you need one of these guides, give us a call, give us an email. We'll send one back. And if you find this information helpful, give it a like. Smash that like
Yes,
button.
please. Once we get to 1,000 followers, you'll help us out.
Yeah.
And then we'll wear cool costumes and stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So just like it. Please subscribe. Send it to your friends that are buying homes. You guys, if you have any questions, go to the website.
Yep. Awesome.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Go for the mortgage.
Go for the mortgage.
Ladies and gentlemen borrowers, thanks for tuning in to the Mortgage Sweet Spot. If you have any suggestions for upcoming episodes or questions for our hosts, me and Sasha, throw them in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe to our channel on your preferred platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or you can check us out on YouTube. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.